Welcome to This Explainer. Every single night, millions of us go through the exact same ritual. We pop in our headphones, open up an app, and desperately search for that magic sound that's going to finally let us drift off. And for most of us, that choice really boils down to two heavyweights. You're either trying to tune your brainwaves like a radio dial, or you're looking for some gentle personal attention. Both methods promise the exact same thing, better rest. But they take completely different paths through your nervous system to actually get you there. Let's dive in. Tonight, we are putting these two massively popular audio tools head-to-head. We've got the low, humming tones of binaural beats going up against the quiet whispers and tapping of ASMR. On one side, you have a tool rooted in raw brainstem physics. On the other, a phenomenon relying entirely on top-down emotion. One promises to literally hack your brain's electrical output, while the other aims straight for your feelings of comfort and security. So which one actually has the science to back it up? Section 1. How they actually work. Let's break down the mechanics and figure out exactly how these two radically different sounds are attempting to hack your brain. Okay, so what's really wild about binaural beats is that they are essentially a massive trick. When you listen to a binaural beat track, the sound you think you're focusing on doesn't actually exist in the air around you. It is literally an auditory illusion. The beat itself is being manufactured right inside your brainstem, as your brain scrambles to make sense of two conflicting pieces of acoustic information. To put this into perspective, let's look at the math behind the illusion. Say you play a tone of 200 Hz in your left ear and a slightly higher one, 206 Hz, in your right ear. Your brain doesn't just hear a messy clash of noise. Instead, it fuses them together, creating a phantom 6 Hz pulse. That is the exact mathematical difference between the two tones. And this is completely crucial because 6 Hz sits right in the drowsy, pre-sleep theta range of brainwaves. The whole theory here, what scientists call the frequency following response, is that your brain will naturally sync up to that phantom 6 Hz rhythm and just drag you down into sleep. But here's the catch. Because this illusion absolutely requires two perfectly isolated tones, it relies on bottom-up physics, meaning you absolutely have to wear headphones. If you try to play binaural beats out of a normal room speaker, the 200 and 206 Hz frequencies just mix together in the air before they ever hit your eardrums. The illusion shatters. The magic is gone. You're just listening to a weird hum. You've got to isolate the ears for your brainstem to actually create that beat. Now, let's switch gears to ASMR, or Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. This works in a completely different way. It triggers a deeply relaxed, sometimes tingly state through very gentle sounds. We're talking soft whispering, close personal attention, slow, deliberate movements. There is zero mathematical brainstem trickery going on here. Instead, it's a highly social, deeply soothing experience. The absolute key difference is that rather than trying to force your brainwaves into a specific state using audio physics, ASMR relies on top-down emotion. It speaks directly to your fundamental sense of safety and calm. When you hear someone speaking softly and gently to you, your brain instantly registers a lack of threat. It essentially sends a green light to your nervous system saying, hey, we're in a safe environment. That lets your guard drop, your muscles relax, and your natural sleep cycles kick in. Section 2, what the science says. All right, let's step into the scientific ring and myth bust some of the massive hype surrounding both of these tools. Because when you look at the hard data, the story takes a really unexpected turn. Looking closely at the data, it turns out one of these tools is being dramatically oversold by marketing, while the other has quietly built up some incredibly convincing physiological evidence. Both have been heavily studied, sure, but they produce wildly different objective results when put to the test in a clinical setting. Let's separate what the scientific literature actually proves from what those clickbait titles promise you. Let's start with binaural beats. A major 2023 systematic review in the journal PLOS One looked at the EEG evidence, so the actual physical brainwave measurements, and they found the core claim to be incredibly shaky. The researchers concluded that reliable brainwave entrainment from binaural beats is weak and inconsistent. Basically, the promise that these tracks will just automatically dial your brain into a sleep frequency, it just isn't backed up by the hard numbers. The physics of the illusion are real, sure, but that whole brain reprogramming effect is vastly overstated. But hey, it's not all bad news for binaural beats. A 2024 randomized controlled trial in geriatric nursing looked at older adults with poor sleep. They had them listen to 20 minutes of binaural beat music 3 times a week. The results? They actually saw improved sleep quality, better heart rate variability, and even reduced depression.
But here's the kicker. Researchers suspect this benefit doesn't come from forcing brainwaves into a specific frequency. It's much more likely that calm, structured audio simply gives an anxious mind something soft to anchor onto.
Meanwhile, let's jump over to ASMR, which actually boasts direct physiological proof. A landmark 2018 PLOS One study hooked people up and physically measured them while they experienced ASMR. The results were wild. They found it reliably drops heart rate by about 3 beats per minute, while at the same time increasing skin conductance. This is massive. It proves that ASMR isn't just some subjective, made-up feeling. It triggers a genuine, measurable, physiological calming response in the human body.
And that totally aligns with the foundational 2015 Peer study of ASMR users. Surveying nearly 500 people, they found a massive consensus. 82% use it specifically to fall asleep, and a staggering 98% use it for relaxation. People are naturally drawn to this because the emotional safety it creates translates perfectly into physical sleep readiness.
Section 3, the final verdict. So, taking all of this peer-reviewed evidence into account, which audio tool actually takes home the trophy for sleep? Let's break it down. When we put them head-to-head, the distinctions are crystal clear. On the mechanism side, ASMR clearly wins with that proven heart rate drop. But when we look at the audience, ASMR is super polarizing. About a quarter of people get strong tingles, while others feel literally nothing. Binaural beats, on the other hand, offer a much more neutral background. Then there's the friction. Binaural beats force you to wear headphones in bed, which can be pretty annoying, whereas ASMR works perfectly just playing quietly from a phone speaker on your nightstand. And finally, the overhype. If you see an ad claiming binaural beats will definitely rewrite your brainwaves in 5 minutes flat, yeah, that's pure marketing, not science. The honest verdict here, ASMR has the stronger physiological case right now. But honestly, neither of these is magic. They are just tools in your toolkit. The absolute real winner is whichever sound genuinely relaxes you and gives your busy mind permission to shut down. Funnily enough, some newer research even points to using both at the same time, blending those neutral binaural tones with soft ASMR triggers for a kind of super combo effect. Section 4, your bedtime toolkit. Let's get practical and look at exactly how you can build a personalized strategy to apply this science tonight.
Here is your post-explainer game plan. Step 1. If you're going the binaural route, make sure you've got headphones on, pick a track in that 4 to 7 hertz data range, and hit play 15 to 20 minutes before you want to be asleep. Step 2. For ASMR, look for personal attention or whispering triggers, give it 10 to 15 minutes, and remember, a bedside speaker works totally fine. Step 3 is the most important. Run a fair experiment. Try 3 nights of binaural beats, then 3 nights of ASMR, and just notice which one your body naturally sinks into faster. And finally, step 4, keep the volume conversational, right around 60 to 70 decibels, and absolutely stop if the binaural beats give you any sort of headache. Real quick before we wrap up, please keep in mind that this explainer is strictly for educational and informational purposes. It is absolutely not medical advice. If you have any specific sleep or health issues, please consult a qualified healthcare professional. So, as you wind down and head to bed, the science has laid out the options. We've got the fascinating, even if slightly oversold auditory physics of binaural beats on one side, and the deeply soothing, scientifically measurable emotional safety of ASMR on the other. You've got the data, you've got your toolkit, and you know exactly how to run the experiment. The only question left is, which sound are you going to choose to downshift your nervous system tonight? Good luck and sleep well.